Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, to my video, to my platform here of Ascension Conscious Expansion and ET disclosure, Starseed disclosure. We're exposing the wrongdoings in the military in these higher places, frequencies, vibrations. We work vibrationally. So today my topic will be about the silent weapons. We talk about the electronic harassments. We talk about what is the intracorporeal network, okay, of nano communication, especially those who had these interesting experiments without their informed consent, right? For me, it's more than a decade ago, and of course, guys who join military, now you see how things are also transpiring on the surface of the planet, with people, with children, with infants, right? The kind of mandatory thing going on, and in the military, that's been happening for a long time. And so with the star seeds, right, we come here to pretty much detect everything, and military abduction, right, that also happened almost 2 decades ago for me. So for us, there was like a dress rehearsal to teach then what this is all about, how it affects our mind, feelings and emotions, our moods, our behaviors, right? How really we're not physical, but we're energy, right? And so reading the energies and doing the inner work, the transformational work on an energy level, because we've been played by those native aliens, and via DARPA's, right, their so-called advanced research agency, right, how we've been played here, and we were batteries for them, and they're playing with our mind, with our feelings, emotions, with our behavior, even with our deeds. And especially again in the military section, right, the whole terrorism, how it's all pretty much being how it's all being fabricated, and with the proxy wars with proxy Israel, and how these guys will end up in those dark projects, psyops and the black ops, military covered operations, how they then become digital avatars. They're walking signals on the battlefield with horrible problems, horrible aura, energy field, running reversals, right, addictions, right? So, and what we detected in their aura energy field almost again 2 decades ago, I am coming back, and I have all these confirmations and all this proof and even science behind it. So this is a beautiful material here. If you guys want to check Mike Anderson, and this is his website. I cannot really pronounce it here well. The CORONA to inspect, right? And we'll talk about the MAC phenomenon, and we'll talk about this thing, very important, how they're making transhumans or transgender out of us. This, how we become weaponized. What does it mean to be weaponized? How we become like the signal for those satellites, right? We are targeted individuals, and all these silent weapons, right? The directed energy weapons, keeping us in extremely low frequency vibration. And how come we're not manifesting, right? How come I'm not manifesting my project? How come I'm not manifesting my abundance? How come I'm not manifesting my healing center, right? How come, what's going on, right? So here we go. if you're a targeted individual, if you're on their list, blacklist, right? They want to get rid of you. This is what it's behind. It's actually invisible, right? It can hide their criminal activities, so they can keep themselves in control, right? And it leaves no traces of crime, that's physically, right? But emotionally, mentally, energetically, right? We feel these things, and now it's also becoming visible. What is happening on the East Coast, now on the West Coast, right? The directed energy weapons, right? Targeting the smart meters. Homes are pulverized, right? Molten metal, right? And trees are standing next to it. It's all being directed. So and so there's a highly advanced technology behind it, and now people understand they want a physical evidence, but it's really we're dealing with electronical, like we're hyperspace, we're dealing with silent weapons, directed energy weapons, right? Scalar weapons, microwave, and so on, and how they are targeting us, targeting our homes, just abusing us electronically, right? As again, if you're a star seed, highly deviant soul, you understand energies. And again, me introducing yoga to military, and all these sex games and mind games, and it's just no thank you. If they cannot control you, they need to destroy you, and that's what they were trying to. In a way, they did that, right? That was 10 years ago, exactly January 12 years ago, January 2013. But the AI of that good ETs, of the positive faction, the Ashtar Galactic Command, the Andromeda, and so on, right? We have technology. They can override their technology, and they can enhance this body or bring another hyperspace hologram, right, into this physical form, so I continue my mission. And we have to expose all these wrongdoings behind those secrecies, secret military operation, black ops, right? This SS secret space program. We also with all these CCP, DARPA, China, United Corporation, Raytheon, right? Their agenda to destroy the angelic divine luminous rays, destroy the planet secretly. It means no visible evidence, but those who feel energies, who understand energies, who have in these interesting experiences, right? How come some very nice people also end up on a street? How come suddenly somebody has a heart attack? How come somebody, very young people, they have a stroke? Well, especially when you get this, and there are other things, because the air's been poisoned, the water has been poisoned. Of course, there are some degenerative diseases and so on, but it's because we've been hybridized, and especially everybody pretty much receive some sort of jab, right? Growing in this society, whether on a was it the East Bloc or Western Bloc, and so on, so North and East, or North and South. So we all been genetically modified, some of us less, some of us more. I was extremely I was electrocuted, I was extremely abused, right? But we hold the highest frequency of ascension. I'm the column of light shining bright. We already came here ascended, and we had to detect all these horrible activities, of the elite, the power elite, the echelon, the controlling group, right? The Black Sun operations and the Belial Sun to establish the one world order, new world order, right? And they've been executing the agenda of those negative aliens, Alpha Draconis, right? The hybrid Anunnaki, the Chimera group, the Arachnoids, the Archons, right? So, the Zetas and the Greys, and so on. So we are reporting these things here. This is galactic, this is cosmic. All these horrible things happening in the astral plane, what happened to me, that's what I'm sharing with you. And now people have a chance to also have this experience on their physical plane. Fortunately, unfortunately, right? It's a good luck, bad luck. As long as we're learning our lessons, we're staying in our heart, we're forgiving, we're loving, we're expanding our consciousness, right? Know that all is well, that there are solutions, there are good ETs helping us with ascension. We have divine intervention. The guardians are here, right? The cosmic solar Rishis are here. They, we also corrected the new earth grid. We have the diamond sun grid, diamond grid, human heart grid, and so on. We've been doing all these meditations, unity meditations, and so on. So there is a help coming from cosmic realm, especially Andromeda, crystal star family, aurora races. They're hosting this ascension. And so understanding, energy, understanding AI, understanding what really life is all about, understanding ourselves, self-study, understanding our mission, and knowing our gifts and talents, and being of service, divine service. This is our golden ticket to the next harmonic universe, right? Which is harmonic universe number 2. Soul connection, consciousness expansion, right? It's living in unity, peace, harmony, Christosophia consciousness, and co-creating the new earth. And some of us, we will be kind of ascending to that soul level, some of us on that monadic level, some of us on that avatar level. And here, we're bringing the cosmic energies because the negative aliens, right, they're confronted. And now you see the confrontation in LA, right? There's a huge big reptilian base right there, the under the Getty museums and the Getty villa there in that area that was affected by the fires. And there is an ancient war that is happening. So these are the cosmic crystals found in Rishis, right, against the negative ones, the negative forces, with their anti-life, anti-Christ, anti-human agenda to destroy the planet and destroy humanity. So, and it is complicated, complex, it's multi-layered, multi-leveled, and so on. So again, only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. I need to talk about these kind of things because it's not easy to live here, but at the same time I have these kind of experiences, either people around me or who I keep a little bit like a written communication with them, that they're doing really well, they're already manifesting their dreams, or here somebody experiences better health, better health conditions. So it's the people don't first it doesn't mean if it's not visible it doesn't exist. Vibration is vibration, energy is energy. You cannot get rid of energy, right? This is our especially the kundalini, that's our life force, right? And the prana, chi, right? And source, this the divine intelligence, that's the pure energy of all that is. This what this is our true inheritance, and this is what flows through us, through all these channels and meridians and exotonal lines. And this is kind of how we operate, the star seeds. And we've been here infiltrated, we've been targeted, we've been damaged, weaponized, we've been, like I said, targeted, we've been hexed, and our DNA has been hacked. And this is what I've experienced with my soul group, right, under the umbrella of DARPA and the terror operatives in CIA, 3-letter agencies and so on. These dark projects, they're the elite, the bloodline that I represent. So they're running reversals, right? And they're executing the agenda of those negative aliens. And they themselves, they've been weaponized. They themselves, they've been brutally abused, violated, and they've been genetically modified, right, to do something that is not organic, because some of the bloodlines, the royalty, who've been mixed with the reptilians, right, and with the hybrid Anunnaki, with the Nazi kind of the Nazi DNA, right, we've been kind of primed to execute the agenda of those negative aliens, right? Like we've been primed to and do these horrible things, right? And especially in the military MC, right, you're serving the nation of the serpent. And if you're assassin, they're making assassin and sleeping agent out of you. And now we know how, right? And here's the evidence. So I have to do these things, unfortunately. Was my one project, was my soul group, my ashram for Marines. How these guys are being beaten down, and some of them are highly advanced souls. They're Rosicrucians of the Magic Grail lineages of Soul Christ, Archangel Michael. They are also the Rose Line lineages and so on, or Melchizedek order as well. And they're hooked to AI. They're hooked to black box programming. And I first see things energetically, right? I cannot talk about it, but now right, science, people want evidence. It's a beautiful thing, right? So here's also evidence that 400 times magnification of 54 CV vials further confirms that's the mRNA injections contain millions of undisclosed bioengineered smart entities, or the smart dust, that respond to electromagnetic signals, right? We're from satellites, we're from 5G, Wi-Fi, computers, cell phones, and are highly toxic. Okay, so there's all this evidence, valuable facts and evidence. It cannot be silenced. And so that's why, yeah, it is critical information for our community. We need to be educated about these kind of things, because knowledge is power, and that's how, you know, we're helping ourselves, we're helping others. And unfortunately, so many people, you know, they got disease, they have disabilities, and there's lots of death, right? And even my friend from you know, Czech Republic, she's saying that all these people who got this, they're dropping their bodies like never before. And you know, I was trying to tell her about these electronic harassments, and how, you know, that they've been weaponized, and through Wi-Fi, satellites, computers, and so on, right? You can suddenly get a heart attack, you can suddenly get a stroke, and so on. And people have a kind of hard time to understand that, right? And I understand it, right? I mean, you know, it's for me, I had to scientifically study that, read that a couple of times in order to integrate it, right? Just kind of really get it into my flow, so I can share it with you again through my soul signature, energy signature, through my operational system. So please only take what resonates with you, leave the rest. You know, again, this is not for everybody, right? So this is another part of my disclosure. We talk about what was done with the 9/11, those buildings there. And here at the end, the building 7, this demolition, right? It turned to dust. It was flash of light, energy, focus, high speed, right? It was run via AI quantum supercomputers, satellites, where metal turns to vapor. It was all pulverized via microwave radioactive wave. This was remote viewing a decade ago, right? Something that happened 2001. Guess what is happening now in California? The same old thing, right? Beams, scalar weapons being used, right? Drones with cylinder tanks with horrible chemicals, explosion, molten metal, vaporized, pulverized debris, right? You see this horrible vibration, even people hear the sound, right? Sound blasted, air sprayed with chemicals, and it causes the explosion, right? Production event. And this thing was, the 9/11 was the inside job, and everything collapsed, even the bottom of that building. It was a controlled demolition, right? These dense chemicals activated, right, with its particle dispersed. It's like a teardrops metallic texture, white dust, silver gray, phosphorus, right? And it was all done via the laser weapons. What we're experiencing in California, Paradise, California, LA, California, New York, right? This is, guys, this has been happening for a long time. And you know, I know that we've been silenced, and you know, we've been all about black magic. There's a black magic behind it called, and my cabal, yeah, cabal, and my soul group is right there. And I had all these voices in my head, but I kind of have to kind of be okay with it. And even how they diagnosed me with schizophrenia and all this stuff, right? So they want to damage you, and if they cannot control you, they need to get rid of you. But voila, I'm still here, right, talking about those kind of things. And we have a platform for them. We are healing. We're creating the sacred space for them, right? We're the column of light shining bright. Like, we are holding that sacred space for my soul group, who ended up in those dark operations. Here we have a project for DARPA, for those black magicians. And you know, just the military, you know, that's the defense advanced research, what is it, DARPA project agency, right? So this is just we know what is behind all that. So let's talk about the MEG phenomena, right? So this is the media access control addresses over Bluetooth wireless network. Okay, so it means in this way it can be discerned that the MAC addresses does not correspond to any let me see. Oh, they couldn't find any electronic manufacturer. Okay, how that was all, but means we are connected to internet, right? And here they talk about this code is divided into 6 blocks of 2 hexadecimal characters. Anyway, there's lots of science that I still don't understand, but I flow with these energies. And how people start becoming aware of it, because those who got the injection, right, they suddenly, when they turn on their phone's Bluetooth, right, to pair another device, a long list of anonymous MAC addresses appeared, which did not seem to correspond to devices. Okay, so this is how people themselves, they start being aware of these what is it, Bluetooth signals. Those are actually low energy Bluetooth, BLE. Okay, and you can actually get an app if you're interested. If you know you are radiating something and so on, you can get it iPhones or Android and so on. But there's also a study from South America that these scientists, right, talk about the vibration, you know, the intracorporeal nano network. They went to cemetery. It means, you know, people die, they're buried there, and suddenly they get a signal for their Bluetooth on their computers. So they came there with computers, they had Bluetooth signal, and when they're tracing it to that certain name, and then they found out that that person died because of this. So there is so much evidence how, you know, you suddenly start emitting these energies, right? And you're pretty much hooked to AI. So people naturally emit energies, okay, and that's through you know, the energy centers, your chakras. We're energy, we're sound line, frequency, vibration. So even though I do say words, there is sound behind it, right? And also what I'm in military, what I noticed, there's a subliminal programming there through black magic, and they are doing all these reversals, right? Guys, they are told they're fighting for this country and you got to be honest and so on, but subliminally, right, they are digressing them, and actually it means everything in reverse, that you're serving the nation of the serpent, now you're becoming terrorist and criminal, and they make them responsible, even though it's done against their will, it's done against their informed consent. So that's why this is so kind of hard, drastic, dramatic, complex here for the military, for me to even talk to about it, or you know, get in touch with them, because you know, it's very advanced, it's very high tech, yeah, it's technocratic, you know, it's the whole, it's very scientific, and it's from those negative aliens, their black hole technology. And you know, these guys are all weaponized. They run the AIs in their brain, in their tissues, brain tissues. It also affects their heart and their lungs, right? That's why some of them, you know, if you're transhuman, so you get a new clone body, okay, and they are pretty much following the agenda of those negative aliens. They have to, you know, through direct programming, they just have to do what is being told them. Otherwise, they can turn them off. They can get a heart attack. They can get, stroke. They target them even more. They harass them even more. I talk about how they are burning their aura energy field. I had the same experience. I know what that means. Is excruciating pain, okay? It's not funny. That's how they damage your DNA, okay, and how they're digressing you, and they're emitting these extremely low frequency vibration, the radio waves, right? We talk about that, right? And it's all for the mind control and MK Ultra, right? And for so they can do the black ops. They're in those black ops, right? They don't question anything, right? They're just walking robots, automatons, and so on. So it is through all these like it's through signals, it's through energy transmission and transmissions, emission, and even receiving all these energies, right? So we're going to talk about the intracorporeal network of nano communication, because I was hooked to AI. I'm part of that, okay? And that's why I live the life that I live. It's we have to be of service. I told you, I have to like surrender to God, to source, And that's why I have the project, right, and the healing protocol or the ascension protocol. And that's why well, divine grace, and bringing everything under the galactic codex, bringing everything to divine justice, right? And we have to really serve the one. We have to be also simple and humble, simplify our lives, and just kind of turn to light 100%. Be devoted, dedicated to our project, and just kind of learn how to just kind of walk with Christ and surround ourselves by the energies of Holy Mother, Divine Mother. Okay, that's very important. Also, I wanted to mention that back in 2000, there was a Dr. John Hall. He discovered, there's the phenomena of targeted individuals back then, all this electronic harassment and or organized stalking, right? He's from California, and he wrote a book, A New Breed, Guinea Pig. Okay, and he talked about this satellite terrorism. There was another Dr. Nick Begich, Begich, Controlling the Human Mind. Okay, and I'm talking about, there was a covert harassment conference in Brussels in 2014, and this Dr. Raumi Kilde, I think she was from Brussels, Brussels. She had her speech there. She had a presentation, and the next year she died. Okay, and who was also there was Alfred Lebrun Weber, right? He was a judge in Canada. I think he has a master degree in political science, but he started being harassed since 2001. He was attacked by directed energy weapons. Of course, he worked for Stanford Research Institute, and he started talking about the transhumanist agenda and so on, and he talked about the stealing and robotizing the human mind. He talked about the torture, the harassment, and so on, the scalar weapons, how important it is to ban HARP. Okay, this whole mind control weapons, and also talk about the chemtrails. And so when he wanted to pass the bill, there were international tribunals also in Japan, Hawaii, and so on. And he was a judge for all these criminal activities. Let me see how you call that. Criminal law. Yeah, he studied the criminal law. Well, he went to White House in 2009, and that's where he really started being horribly harassed electronically. He had to leave his job. He had to get a sick leave for 3 months. And after that, he had to totally quit his job. He was not able to operate. Okay. And this is the thing that so many these people, whistleblowers, they already done this work a long time ago, right? How many whistleblowers had to die? How many children need to die, right? So that's why when we see people in California, some of them, of course, they are suffering, or so many people, they have no home, nothing, and so on, right? It's time also for them to reawaken. Okay, because enough is enough. We have to stop the cycle. We have to stop the abuse, and people need to start being informed. They need to be educated or re-educated, right? And that's why spirituality, that's number one. Simplifying our lives is number one. Breathing, focusing on our breath, right? Just finding peace in the middle of this craziness, right? The chaos. We need to stop those wars, the proxy wars with proxy Israel, which is being instigated via AI. Silent weapons, they leave no physical evidence. So in a way, we need to raise above all that. We need to raise our frequency vibrations, because that's what I see, whether in White House or Pentagon, or in the Supreme Court, the judicial system, where these people, I feel into the energies, right? And they cannot explain so many things. They can be highly advanced souls. They are very evolved souls, but they're involved in horrible criminal activities. Normally they would not done it, but because they got this, I talk about especially those guys in the military, they've been hybridized, they're transhumans, they were programmed also on Moon, Mars, right, through all these satellites, right, and then they are put to death. Okay, so that's why we're bringing the awareness into it, and slowly and surely, right, building the platform for them to rehabilitate their consciousness, their DNA, and their hologram, right? Extremely important. And what I also learned from Albert Weber, right? Alfred Lebremont Weber, right? Because he started talking about exopolitics, and actually through him, through he was interviewing somebody, I learned that actually the U.S. Marines, whether from Hydra, from those black ops, right, they're severely mind control, abused, tortured, and so on. They themselves were in this Wuhan Institute. They themselves received the CV-19, right, and they were distributing the vials there. So you know that when people talk the Russia against China, or China against United States, and so on, if you understand the agenda of those negative aliens and the elite and the octopus, right, they have tentacles all over the world. So it doesn't matter which nation, which country, which religion, whether you're black, white, yellow, red, or brown. It's all about now the frequency vibration. Okay, pretty much, because so many people been lied to, deceived, duped, right? All these things also were done without their informed consent, including even Adolf Hitler. Next time I'll also have a disclosure. It's from Farsight Institute about psychology of Adolf Hitler, and there was a remote viewing of those two professionals, okay, one living in Great Britain, the other one in Hawaii. How important it is to educate ourselves, to talk about these things, so we don't make the same mistake. We increase our frequency vibration, right? We're increasing, we are not judging, we have compassion. And that's how we're ascending as the entire earth. One heart, one nation, right? So here people, they know that when we go all, we go one, and so on, right? We need to include everybody, including our energy frequency vibration, including also these people in those dark structures, because they've been abused, violated, tortured, raped, blackmailed, you name it. And these entities, these bodies, right, there's no more of that original soul. They are possessed, right? Here with our healing, we need to reach again one single soul occupancy. Okay, so what you see, the Mossad, the Zionists, and people are naming these names, and they see the physical body. Originally, the soul is not even there. The negative entities, they can project themselves into these physical bodies. Some of these bodies are nothing but drones and clones. You can see it also in the presidential structure, right? Because these negative aliens, they have extremely highly advanced not only cloaking technology, but cloning technology, right? And they're continuing their game. Okay, that's why we see these horrible things happening also in the sky, whether it's in California or across the globe, because enough is enough. We are bringing everything to divine justice. We're establishing the galactic codex here, the new earth jurisdiction, right? And right, we're ascending here, because the guardians now, the cosmic crystals guardians, the emerald order is here. Is coming back online. The solar Rishi, the divine intervention, the cosmic intervention is here, and God is God, right? Victory of the light. So not my will but thine be done, right? That's also part of our learning, and learning our lessons, and just see how it is, how to surrender to the divine, not to the enemy or to our weaknesses. No, we own our weaknesses, right? We study ourselves. This is how we empower ourselves to learn our lessons and to face our shadow. And through the transformational work in our alchemy, that's how we transcend, ascend, and enter the new earth realm, the 5D paradigm, the paradise. Okay, there's no more turning back, and no more hiding our heads in the sand, or no more like, oh, I don't want to see it. Everything is right here in front of our eyes, and it's up to us, right, with the individual ascension, right, taking the responsibility, being responsible, right? Because everything is accounted for. That's why we are also aligning with the universal laws, right? So those who are studying the universal laws, or the natural laws, the 13 principles of natural laws, you know how the energy operates, right? What goes around comes around. Energy moves in a circular motion. But these negative aliens, through their AI, highly advanced AI, right? From 10 dimensions, sourcing from 10 dimension, 11 dimension. That's your Christed mind, that's your Buddha mind, that's your solo logos, right? That's your avatar self. That's how the abuse is unfathomable, it's undescribable, and it's been done to everybody, right? So whether you are of this skin, that religion, that status, right? You are young or old, right? It's just we all are on the same boat and we're doing the best, right? We're doing our best. We're like working on ourselves, or healing ourselves so we can help others and be of service. So let me kind of quickly go over this, guys, okay? Because it's true that those people who receive this boom, 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 we emit this kind of interesting we've been radiated here, and that's how our DNA is being damaged, and that's how even the behavior is being changed, right? Our thinking is being changed. If we don't do the inner work, if we are not strong in that inner core, we're easily being then controlled, manipulated, we are docile, and we comply, and more addiction, more psychosis, right? And more digression and so on, right? Till we just hit the bottom. Sometimes some of us had to hit the bottom and kind of start again, or people, unfortunately, some people have to go and leave, and it's okay, because on a soul level we're eternal. But that's why I have the Ascension protocol, right? Or from the guardians, from the crystal star guardians, from Aurora, the 12D shielding, right? The unity vow, these meditations, right? The solfeggio tones, aligning with the universal law. It's very important to keep your spiritual practice each and every day with chanting, japa mantra meditation, positive affirmations, right? The food, the diet, and so on, even writing things down, right? Or being creative, and so on, right? Very important, guys. The quantum manifestation, right? So like I said, so many people, they are sharing, what they are experiencing, what they're noticing, and so on. So the energy works. Energy is real. It just takes time. I understand people want like instant, gratification and so on, but this is not the way to go. We all have to come to terms with everything that happened to us. We have to acknowledge our shadow. We have to do the inner work, right? And we have these healing tools, how we can transform all that, heal, right? We better ourselves. We learn our lessons. That's how we raise the frequency vibration, the light quotient, and that's how we are ascending, right? And together with this planet, with Mother Earth, Mother Nature as well. Also, what is being noticed in the in this that these interesting these nanobots, right? They target your heart, your soul, of course, your heart, your lungs, and your brain, right? And that's how they do all kinds of modification of your thoughts, of your emotions, of your mind, of your behavior, right? And especially those guys in the military, naturally they would not be doing these things. They are doing these things because they've been modified, they've been manipulated, they've been abused. There's called direct programming. You cannot question anybody, especially, right, the military, the echelon, and the elite, and so on, right? So we have to understand that component in order to have a full disclosure, right? It's more the galactic cosmic level, right? So we talk about star seeds, ET disclosure, right? And we're exposing the corruption in those highest places. because yeah, we've been infiltrated by AI, by alien, right, by a rogue alien macerator races. And also, we talk about the rogue Pleiadians or the hybrid Anunnaki Nazi Pleiadian faction. This is what I'm dealing with under the draconian kind of Gestapo faction, right? And they have spaceships, spacecraft, they have quantum super computers. They're actually monitoring everything on their screens, how people are suffering, children are suffering, how they are being abused, violated, and tortured for adrenochrome harvesting. So we have to come to those terms that this has been happening for quite some times. Also, the disclosure that we ourselves, with our deity DNA, understanding the galactic history, or understanding ascension, understand your rights or know your rights via the galactic codex. Very important, right? You have the right to be free, to be abundant, to be spiritually happy, right? To know who you truly are, and to meet your star galactic cosmic family, right? Because some of us, the star seeds, we're kind of born in these interesting bloodlines, in this interesting, and what in the world, who are these people? Right? I mean, this is our bloodline, but also we have a spiritual family. So what's beautiful with the 13 stargates, especially for those children who were abused and violated, that their soul slowly and gently is being healed, and these children will return back to their soul spiritual family, because some of them they came here to either have the experience, or they had to kind of they chose to have this kind of experiences. Okay. And some of those experiences were successful, some of them were less successful, but it is what it is. We have to accept things the way they are. We have to acknowledge, right, everything that's been happening, that happened to us, right? And instead of being a victim, or then the perpetrator, victim, we overcome, right? We learn our lessons, and we do the transformational healing work. Okay, so very important, guys, to understand that they are using all these topology of the intracorporeal network, right? So we're dealing with those nano nodes or nano sensors, nanometer scale objects. Very difficult to observe with your 3D eye, right? So that's why you have to understand, like, they're very tiny particles, and they go into your cardiovascular system, right, into arteries, capillaries, into heart, in order to propagate wireless signals of that intercorporeal network. Okay, and it carries out this main function. Nanonodes must let me see, they talk about how much it must be in the bloodstream and so on, and how they can be detoxed, right? But here they're saying that the material, right, talking about it's the graphene oxide, and it can also decompose itself. So if it can reduce itself into small amount, and they'll talk about creating the graphene quantum dots. And this is the product of decomposition of larger sheets, causing their dissemination throughout the body until they reach a sufficiently small size to be unaffected by the immune system. So it means you can detox from it. And of course, they are not being detected by the mainstream medical system, right? And they are also their superconductive properties, okay, and they're reduced to nanometer scale. And let me see, they propagate signals or pulses. Okay, it acts like an antenna is so wireless. So it has demonstrated that graphene oxide is capable of absorbing electromagnetic radiation. So if you have this thing, right, so that's why for me 5G towers, I guess, ladies, I talk about the 5G towers, Wi-Fi, computers, turn off the Wi-Fi, have it on a plane mode. It's just what I'm saying, what I'm doing, right? Because then the signals, right, you have all these gigahertz, terahertz, right? And that's how you are hooked to AI, and you're being targeted, and then you're being mind controlled, you're being you turn into transhuman, right, or even transgender with all these hormones, right? Look what happened to all these whistleblowers, right? What happened, the footages of Julian Assange, right? That it's never been really talked about, right? So you can see how that was all what was really done there, how it was all propagated, how it's highly advanced technology, how it was done through AI, and so many innocent people had to go. And those guys in the military, they were given wrong addresses. They went to home houses and there were no terrorists, and they still are recovering from PTSD, because some of these guys, they do have a huge big heart, right? So they deserve some kind of healing center. I'm not saying I'm the only alternative, right? I'm like the only solution. This is for my soul group, those who abuse me, because DARPA, right? They are CIA operatives, horror, terror, and so on. They're part of the Black Project, Black Ops. They're in Hydra, and they're my soul group, right? So of course they're my soul siblings. You have this attraction, whether it's the sexual attraction, emotional attraction, right, and so on. And these guys, they want to choose love. They want to maybe exit, especially you don't exit the military if you're sworn to secrecy. Unfortunately, they are sworn to secrecy. They're microchipped, right? Get chip in their brain. They got CCP jab, and then what do? Right? If you fall in love, with your soulmate, this is the problem. This becomes a problem. So that's why I am doing what I'm doing, and this is kind of hidden. It was being silenced. No, not many people maybe talk about it, or they don't have the understanding of it, or maybe I'm the one who kind of talks about it like this because I was introducing yoga to military. I'm a yogi, right? For me, that's passion, is yoga, Ayurveda. And I became harassed and targeted individual, and those negative ones, right, or the elite, they are superimposing their karma on star seeds, right? I don't drink, I don't smoke, right? I'm not on any drugs, on any medications. I never hold a gun, right? That machine, in my hands, that kind of the Draco Federation, right? And if I physically, I would not be able to even, I'm not even capable to break your hand, okay? So what are you accusing me? What is desecration of the divine feminine, right? Those guys are programmed to hate the mother, holy mother. That's why they're destroying the earth. They're the rapists, right? Because it was done to them, and that's from Rosicrucians. They are turned into Satanists, right? Through all these interesting, horrible, abusive things that is being done to them. So, and if you don't have a space to heal, to really, absorb this energy, analyze these energies, and really come to terms to these energies, right? Then you become like Adolf Hitler, right? He also was abused as a child, and then joined the world. He was in World War One, and we'll talk about it next time. This is going to be again a disclosure, right? My disclosure and so on. So it's kind of my kind of personal thing, because it's to do, with my soul lineage and with this whole bloodline kind of stuff, where we are ending the cycle, and we are again creating the protocol, the project for them to heal their woundings, to heal their brokenness, to heal their compartmentalization, to heal their fracture of their soul, to heal, to kind of free themselves from that MK Ultra that causes with the dimension. It causes dissociative disorders, right? It causes psychopathy, and so on. Mental illnesses, right? All these disturbances. It causes also cancer, right? And this shaking disease, ALS, like my ex, right, who is not amongst us, and so on. So I speaking through my own direct experiences, okay? So again, only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. So then we talk about the micro or nano sensors, okay? And so those are simple devices for monitoring. They're monitoring your physiology. They're collecting electrical signals, metric and quantitative evaluations in the human body, right? And they target certain organs. We talk about the brain, the heart, the lungs, right? Because it has electrical pulse, okay? So the micro nanosensors can be made up of a lattice of graphene nanosheets and carbon nanotubes or carbon fibers. These lattices adhere to the walls of the endothelium, the cardiac and arterial system, and even in the brain tissue due to their ability to overcome the blood-brain barrier. So not only they get through you energetically, right, using drugs, and you open the chakras, the energy centers, and so on, but they also do it through this graphene oxide, this nanobus nanotechnology, and through the neural networks, okay? They do it wirelessly, electrical signals, and so on. They pass through this nanobus, get into blood-brain barrier, so it means your brain becomes full of metallic structures, right? And they can easily control you, manipulate you through satellites, through directed energy weapons, scaling weapons, through that microwave frequency, keeping you extremely low frequency vibration, and then then you're committing all these horrible crimes, right? Without even your thinking. You're a sleeping agent, right? That's how they fracture them. And then people are here putting you to death because people want physical evidence. But if we don't understand the energy structure, if we don't understand the agenda of those negative aliens, right? If we don't understand that we are spiritual beings having human experience, that we are 99.9% energy, right? Only 0.1% matter. How can there be disclosure? How can we have peace? How can we end this cycle? If we need to educate ourselves, re-educate ourselves, we have to heal, we have to understand this. This is, to me, this is a must here on my platform, right? Because we have to confront the high echelon, the power elite, right? And those negative aliens, they're the one responsible for all these genocide and eugenics. And the bloodline family, they're dark portals to execute all that. Some of those individuals, they don't even know who they are, right? As children, they're being abused, violated, tortured. What do you expect them to walk with Christ if they learn also about all this Satanism, Luciferianism, right? So that's kind of my thing. So once established, they generate electrical conduction pathways equivalent to the wires of a circuit, which together with the superconducting capacity of the material becomes a field effect transistor. This makes it possible to detect the electrical pulses of the organ with which it is in contact. For example, the heart, the brain, the lungs, right? The alveolar tissue in the lungs, but also to interact by emitting electrical discharges, since they can also act as supercapacitors due to the piezoelectric properties they possess. So what does it mean? So in this sense, they would act as an interface, since given a certain signal at the appropriate frequency, they could trigger, guess what? They could trigger these discharges. This applied to sensitive organs such as the heart and even the respiratory system could cause choking sensations, fainting, arrhythmia, or heart attack. Oh, Prince died on heart attack. Yeah, when he was trying to expose all these things, right? We don't know what is behind. Also, we don't know also what is behind, who really was involved in those horrible crimes. Of course, then you kind of allow these houses of demons to enter your body when you comply. But if you're complying through intimidation, through bullying, through horror and terror, like it happened to my soul group, right? We have to address the entire structure that is from extremely high densities, right? So it's like highly advanced souls. So in the case of brain tissue, the scientific literature is very profuse and includes a multitude of experiments and tests with carbon nanotubes and graphene oxide nanosheets to act as electrodes capable of acting as bridges between neurons and stimulating their electrical activity, which makes it possible to create artificial axons and influence the segregation of neurotransmitters. Presumably, this would make it possible to interfere with the proper function of a person's psyche, monitor the electrical conductivity of brain regions, alter behavior, thinking, and conduct. Yeah. So understand there are terrorists, there are serious killers, there are sleeping cells. Voila. Right? We have to also understand the structure. We have to understand energy, read the energies. Because some of those guys, they don't even know who they are and what they are doing. Their body is turned into digital avatars, into a portal for dark energy to come in. And last time I showed you, right, we have the governing the meridian channels, the microcosmic orbit, how these entities, right, they are hooked to certain points in your spine, and that's how those guys, they're just nothing but robots of those negative aliens. Okay, so this topic needs to be addressed. And so let me end here, guys. So there's more I can read about it, but I'm just telling you that these times you never know what is done through AI, what is done through naturally, organically, right? That's why it's like a twilight zone, pretty much. Yeah, whether who is insane, who is crazy, who is not crazy, because the AI is so advanced, and we have to pretty much via inner work, like again, become spiritual again. That's how we overcome, how we can harmonize these energies and frequency vibrations, and that's how we can pretty much make peace and bring peace here to this planet. So many blessings and namaste. I'll talk to you next time. Bye bye.